My arrogant neighbor illegally cut down my massive 150-year-old heritage oak tree, so I used the absolute terrifying power of American tree law to completely bankrupt him and take his luxury house. I am a 28-year-old software engineer, and I recently bought my absolute dream home in a beautiful, highly wooded neighborhood. The absolute best part of my entire property was a gorgeous, massive oak tree right on the edge of my backyard that provided perfect shade for my patio. My next-door neighbor was an absolute nightmare of a guy named Richard. Richard was a classic, entitled boomer who drove a leased sports car and constantly complained that my massive tree was blocking his afternoon sunlight and ruining his view. He aggressively demanded that I cut it down so he could build a massive, luxury infinity pool in his backyard. I explicitly told him absolutely not and legally banned him from stepping foot on my property. Last month, I flew out of state for a 4-day corporate business trip. When I finally got back and walked into my backyard, I witnessed an absolute nightmare. Richard had secretly hired a crew of cheap, unlicensed landscapers to completely chainsaw my gorgeous, historic tree directly down to the stump. There was absolutely nothing left but sawdust and completely ruined grass. I marched directly over to Richard's driveway, completely furious. Richard was standing by his garage, drinking a beer and smirking right in my face. He literally pulled a crumpled $100 bill out of his wallet, threw it at my chest, and told me to go buy a new sapling from Home Depot. He smugly told me it was just a stupid piece of wood, and he aggressively dared me to sue him in small claims court, claiming his expensive corporate lawyers would completely crush me. He thought I was just a dumb, broke millennial who would cry and take the massive loss. But Richard was an absolute legal idiot who didn't understand the terrifying, unlimited power of American timber trespass laws. I didn't yell at him, and I didn't cause a scene. I quietly pulled the crystal clear, ultra high definition 4K security footage from my backyard camera, which explicitly showed Richard directing the illegal cutting on my private land. I completely bypassed the local police and went straight for absolute financial destruction. I hired a Master Certified Arborist to officially evaluate the damage. In the United States, you cannot simply replace a 150-year-old tree. The arborist officially valued the mature, historic tree, along with its ecological impact and property value contribution, at exactly $60,000. Then, I hired a ruthless property litigator. Under our strict state timber trespass laws, intentionally destroying a mature tree on someone else's property automatically triggers massive treble damages. That means the judge legally multiplied the $60,000 value by 3. My lawyer slapped Richard with a staggering $180,000 civil lawsuit for intentional property destruction. Richard completely panicked and tried to file a massive claim with his homeowner's insurance, but the insurance company immediately dropped his coverage, explicitly stating they absolutely do not pay out for intentional, premeditated criminal acts. The civil judge was absolutely furious. He awarded me the full 180 grand plus $30,000 for my expensive attorney fees. To satisfy the massive, life-ruining legal judgment, the court legally placed a lien on Richard's property and forced him to completely liquidate his 401k retirement account. When that wasn't enough, the bank officially foreclosed on his luxury house. Richard is now completely bankrupt, renting a tiny, cramped apartment on the bad side of town, while I used his cash to plant 10 gorgeous new trees. Some of his snobby friends called me a petty monster for destroying a man's entire life over a stupid plant. But let's be completely brutally honest here. If an arrogant boomer intentionally destroyed your historic property and threw $100 in your face, would you have dropped the legal bomb on him too? Or are you weak enough to just plant a seed and let a bully win? Prove me wrong in the comments.